right. Welcome back, everybody, to On the Line, a fishing podcast, where we talk bass, baits, and big moments from the water. We got a great episode for you tonight. We're talking with the top finishers from the first Kansas Kayak Anglers tournament, and we're breaking down everything from tournament day decisions, what worked, and what made the difference. So let me introduce my guest. First, not first place, but first, in fourth place, my co-host and my brother. Let's welcome Tim Boyden. How you doing tonight, Tim?
Doing good.
Awesome. With his first appearance at Kansas Kayak Anglers tournament and a strong show at third place, welcome to the show. First time, Drew. How you doing, Drew?
Hi. I'm doing good.
All right, glad to have you on. And returning guest and the creator of the C&C Custom Baits, who sponsors Kansas Kayak Anglers, and we appreciate it. Second place finisher, Clayton Westgate, and he disappeared, but he'll be back in a minute. So
probably making baits.
We're gonna put his empty chair on here in a second. All right, and last but not least, returning guest, 2025 Kansas Kayak Anglers Rookie of the Year, and your first place finisher, Joe Bailey. Welcome back. How you doing?
Doing good. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Thank you. All right. We always do at the first part of the show. We always kind of go through some upcoming events just to keep things posted and, check out Facebook and all that kind of stuff, right, for Kansas Kayak Anglers. But our next tournament will be May 2nd at Melbourne Lake. It'll also be sponsored by Melbourne Lake Marina, who's a sponsor of Kansas Kayak Anglers. They do a lot for us. The award ceremony, I talked to Eric over there. He's going to be putting on a there's Clayton's back there. So he's going to be putting on some food for us. I'll keep you posted on that. So it'll be at Melbourne Lake Marina, the award ceremony. I wasn't going to say it, but I was out at Melbourne Lake today and caught some nice 16 plus smallmouth. So it was a really good day. I'm looking forward to it. I won't tell you where just yet, but Clayton probably knows from the pictures, I'm sure. He knows that lake like the back of his hand. And we do have, on April 21st, Sunflower will be holding their first Tuesday nighter at Shawnee Lake here in Topeka, Kansas. It's the Tim C. Graves Memorial Tournament, so it'd be cool if everybody could show up to that. And I know some of you guys are farther away, but it's a little lake here in Kansas. It's a good little fishery. It's a lot of fun. That's the Sunflower group. We got Mackenzie on, I believe. So I had to get some smallmouth action. Yeah, it was pretty nice today. And Derek's on. Derek, how you doing? And then next I want to say, if you're not familiar with them, Patriot Borderlands Kayak Series, or PBKS. He's out of kind of Denver, Colorado. They do a lot for veterans and things like that. And they support community connection. They're holding a tournament at Milford Lake. It's not like normal tournaments that we do, more geared towards veterans and things like that. We're going to talk more about it. Gene Campbell runs that. Tim and I are actually going to be on his podcast this Sunday night at like 8. So it's the Double S podcast. So check it out. If you want to see Tim and I on the other side of this, and probably be a good laugh watching us. So, all right. And then for you guys, any of you guys planning on fishing any of those events, like the Melbourne, the Shawnee Lake one for Sunflower?
I'll be at Melbourne, and I'm gonna try to be at Shawnee also.
Yeah, I'll be at Melbourne.
Nice.
Yeah, I won't be able to make those ones, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's a shame, Joe. That's just a shame.
Yeah, that's all right. So there you say there's a chance.
Yeah. Now, if we could make Clayton lose his Crocs or something so he can't make it, then
I got a brand new pair in the garage.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah. You got to have those brand new pairs of Crocs for your
These
for
are
the boat
this
ramps.
is a special pair.
Yeah. They have bass on them.
Yep.
Oh,
Do they really?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see those. Yeah, I plan on fishing Melbourne and the tournament next week. Tim, what about you?
Yeah, I plan on fishing Sunflower, hopefully, if my truck gets fixed. And then, Melbourne, of course.
Joe, did you get a fish Melbourne last year? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. I know Clayton was there because he beat me.
I can't. I want to. I think I was. That's horrible. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure you did because I think you were in the marina also where I was at.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Perry, but if that was Melbourne, okay, yeah. Now I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Drew, have you ever fished Melbourne before?
No, I have not.
Oh, you're gonna enjoy it if you like smallmouth.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
So, well, thanks everybody for joining us. Everybody watching, make sure you drop your questions and your comments down there. First, I want to thank Clayton. He's done a lot this last 2 years and in the past for the Kansas Kayak Anglers with providing some custom baits from C&C Custom Baits that he bakes himself. So we want to talk a little bit about that with you first, Clayton. So, I kind of know the story, like how long you've been doing it, like what got you. I mean, obviously you're into fishing, so I know what got you into doing it, but
Yeah. I started when I was 16. I actually when I first started working at Cabela's, and they had some lure making supplies, just lead and mold. And, I started out just really simple stuff, making ball head jigs, and I guess it really kind of took off when they first came out with the chatterbaits, and I really started to fish those, and I liked them, but they sucked. The components sucked on them. The hooks rusted. They weren't very sharp. And then the where the blades connected to the heads seemed like it always came apart, and the snaps opened up on them all the time. They'd rust really bad, and the blades corroded really bad. The skirts slipped down every time I set the hook on a fish. So I just decided I was going to make my own, and that's when I started making the bladed jigs, and that turned into casting jigs and ball head jigs and football jigs and swim jigs and brush jigs, shaky heads and Ned rig heads and tube heads, and just everything that I could make. And I'm kind of a tinkerer when it comes to fishing. I'm always trying to think of how I can do something a little bit different. And once I figured out that I could modify a mold to make it something a little bit different than how it's supposed to originally be used, just using a Dremel and cutting them a little bit, I started kind of making my own molds also. So I've got a lot of my own custom made molds, or molds custom to fit different inserts and different parts that you can't get off of the shelf. So, and I've made so many different baits now. It's hard for me to go through and think of all the different things that I've made, but obviously the bladed jig's my big one. That one's been so popular. It's in a tackle store for a little while, and it was pretty hard to keep up with demand while it was in there. And that was when I realized that I did never want to make lures for a living. It wasn't very much fun trying to do that. I really just I enjoyed making them more on the small scale, having people send me pictures of the fish that they've caught with them. It's really enjoyable. I really do like when I get to see people having success with something that I've made.
you, what was I going to say? You probably stay pretty busy though. I mean, you fill a lot of orders though, don't you? Even though you're not in a store.
Yeah, I make quite a few still. Just a lot of word of mouth. I've got, I don't know how many people that follow my Facebook page, so I get a lot of orders through there. I get quite a few guys that buy stuff from me through the group. I got another order today. Derek's waiting on some baits from me. And
He doesn't need them.
So is that for Melbourne? So what did he order?
he's
I know he ordered.
he's wanting a custom made bait that I'm going to have to try to work. Actually, a couple of them, I guess, that I'm trying to work with him on. So
Nice.
that's kind of the nice thing with being a small custom builder is if you have something really specific that you want, if you want just one bait, I can try to make it for you. So I do that all the time for myself, where I have one very specific need that I'm trying to fill. So I will make one very specific bait for myself, and if it's works well, then that's when something like a Nib jig becomes a thing, and it's been pretty popular.
So Clayton, how long does it take you to make a bladed jig? Like
From start to finish, it if you count the time that it takes to bake the paint, it takes about 30 minutes. If you take that away, it takes me about 5 minutes.
Oh wow!
From pouring it, taking it out, painting it, sticking the eyes on it, tying the skirt, and putting all the pieces together. I'm pretty efficient at it anymore.
I think it took me 45 minutes just to tie a skirt on last week for the I was trying to. It looked like a kindergarten art project. I was like, yeah, I'll just have Clayton make them for me.
It took me 45 minutes to tie it on my line.
Yeah, having a jig vise helps a lot, and then just once you get a process down for it, it helps a lot.
Very
Hey,
nice.
Clayton, I'll say too, I've been playing around with your jigs here this spring, and you nailed it, man. I have some like a half dozen of your half-ounce jigs, and I had a couple of them that are black with like gold flake on them, like the skirts, the hook, the head.
Yeah,
You nailed it, man. That's
yeah,
10 out of 10.
they're all
I
wire
throw-
tied, so they last a long time. I mean, most of the time the skirt's going to outlast the bait because you'll lose it before you ever go through the skirt on them.
Like you nailed it. I've thrown. That's my favorite thing to do is throw on big jigs, and like yours, you nailed it, man. That's good.
What size was it?
What's that?
What size was it?
That was a half-ounce.
I was looking for. I've got these. I think we got them out, but that's a quarter. Clayton provided me to bring these to the things, but can't really see them with the light. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking for the right size. I don't think it's the right size, but
There you go.
yeah, they're
Yeah, that's
legit. I brought a bunch of them for show and tell. Oh, there you go. He's
That's the one,
passed
Clayton. That's of all yours have been great. But that's my favorite one. That color combo.
Well, I was going to ask you if you had thrown any, Joe.
Down real quick.
Oh yeah, I've thrown a lot of his jigs here. Yeah.
Drew, were you able to pick one up at the award ceremony? Have you thrown them before?
No. When not yet.
If you when you next tournament, there'll be some more out. He gave me, I think, what'd you say, 6 or 7 per tournament to give away? Clayton.
Yeah, there should be enough to do about 6 per tournament.
So
Very nice.
so we'll have some more. Maybe name will get drawn. You have to take some. See. I think I've gotten some bladed jigs. Have I bought any regular jigs from you at Clayton? I don't think I have.
Bought the micro football jigs.
Yeah, the micro football jigs, which are pretty legit. There's one right there. See it? I don't want to take it out of the package and ruin its value.
Wow.
But yeah, they're pretty. I like the hooks you put on those. Plus, I got some tube heads or whatever you call them. So those are really, I really like those. So you're my new go-to for those. So I don't even need to go to Bass Pro anymore. If you just make plastic now, I'd be good.
That's one of the micro football jigs. It's a quarter ounce, and it's got a 1/0 hook on it. And I tie it with it's got a neck down pin for a weed guard, so it only has about 7 strands of weed guard material. Or I've got an even smaller one that does about 2 strands of weed guard material, so you can fish it on a spinning rod. A lot of times is what I use. But then the Ned jig is another really popular one. And it's an EWG weedless Ned head. and just a little bit of skirt material, really parachutes down, but you can rig it so it's. Let's see if I can get to where you can see it.
Yeah, I maximized it there.
So it's an EWG hook, so you can Texas rig it, your trailer,
Oh, nice.
so you can rig it so it's weedless still without having a weed guard. So I like to put like the TRD craws on the back of that, or you can use a regular TRD, but the craw seems to work really well. But Joe, if you like the big jigs, this is one of my favorite ones. This one's got a mix of silicone and living rubber, the round living rubber, so it really flares out when it hits the bottom. And that it's missing some paint on the head because it's seen quite a bit of use. I'm pretty sure it's seen quite a few Kreitzer trees.
That's what you were using in Texas, weren't you, when you caught that 37-pound bag? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been that one. I don't know.
Yeah. Very nice. Drew, what about you? Do you make any baits yourself, or?
No, I do not. Let's say I have in the past did a little bit of painting, but that was 3 years ago or so.
Yeah. Joe, do you make any of your own baits?
No, I mean, my hobby's fly. I've tied flies before, but I've never made bass lures.
Yeah. Very nice. Flies is another whole. Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's all an art form. Oh yeah.
I wish I could tie bucktail and fly material.
Yeah.
I tried, but it looked more like a chicken running down the road when I got done with it.
I've done some really small ones, and they work fine for catching bluegills or stupid stalker trout. But
Matt, I'll tell you what, you need to make some videos on how you do that, and unless you want to keep it secret, but everybody loves the homemade bait. I watch so many of those channels where they're just making baits. So
I've made a couple videos, but they don't usually get a whole lot of views for me. But
What is that? Your confidence bait, Clayton? What's your confidence bait as far as the ones that you make? What's your favorite? This is what I'm going to take with me. I had no other one.
I mean, a jig, if I can throw it, if they'll eat a jig, that's what I want to fish.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm going to lose a fish on a jig. It's going to be a better quality bite. I can fish it on heavier line, heavier rod. I don't have to worry as much about getting broke off. But a jig and a bladed jig are both really close. I just feel like I miss more fish on a bladed jig than I do a regular jig. But they're right there, 1A, 1B. When it comes to my confidence baits.
I was actually using one of yours down at the pits, your bladed jigs, and I don't know what it was, but something came and hit that thing hard, like sideswiped it. And I was like, oh, I set the hook and about hit myself in the head with the bladed jig. So,
Don't do that. What about Joe? What's your confidence bait? Obviously, I think we know, but
I throw big jigs. I've gone as high as an ounce. Big jigs, and ideally, if it's like dirty water, just tie it straight to braid on a mag heavy rod. That's my favorite thing. Yeah.
So you can basically
go ahead.
I would say you could basically just park your kayak somewhere and fish all the way across the lake with something that heavy.
Hell yeah. I mean, this thing's quick. I mean, kind of like Clayton was saying, if you're on a lake that has fish, I mean, let's say you're trying to weed through, there's a lot of small fish, you're trying to weed through them. I mean, when you're throwing a big jig, the only thing you're really going to get is a big bite. You might occasionally get, medium-sized fish, but I mean, if you're throwing a big monster jig, when you get a bite, it's typically the biggest one in that area.
Very nice. Drew, do you have a confidence bait?
Honestly, a square bill.
Square bill?
That's it. I throw them pretty much year round. And I can always catch, what's one or two on it for sure.
Very nice.
Any favorite colors, Drew?
Bill Lewis makes a couple. The Ozark Crawl, and then they have a Delta Crawl, and then the what's purple Nurple is also. That's really good.
Nice. Tony, you got confidence
mean,
bait?
It's a
We already know
jig,
it is.
but mine's a finesse jig. But I've been trying to branch out more. I don't know. Depends on the time of year, but I sure love a wacky rig.
Yeah.
I've
That's
caught a
good.
lot of fish. Those are, and a Ned rig, probably my top three, like most fish caught, and I've caught some big ones on them too. So it's hard for me to choose. But I would say right now, my flavor is finesse jig. That's why I had Clayton make me like 15 of them. So,
He gave me 3, and they look actually pretty sick. I ain't
yeah.
gonna lie. They look pretty sick.
Those finesse football jigs are, especially smallmouth.
Yep.
The small
No,
those things.
they don't work at all. I don't know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
Definitely not at Perry either.
No.
Or
I bet you
Melbourne.
could be up there on the podium at Melbourne.
Yeah. I like my favorite of the three. I liked all three of them, but my favorite was the PB&J.
Yeah,
That was sick looking. I was like, oh man, okay, I'm not buying any other ones now. So
super deep
probably
color.
I lose a lot of them. So I'm sure I'll keep you busy. So,
yeah.
Tony, you ever make it over to Stockton ever?
I have not fished it.
For some weird reason, that color at Stockton Lake,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but for some reason, the fish is the best. You get that
Missouri. I found Missouri lakes like PB&J.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is, but it'll outfish almost every color. It's just a
Bait fish or something has a similar color. I don't know.
right. Yeah.
So
I got
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, I just said I had a friend that just fished Stockton with the Kansas Bass Buddy, and he got big bass of the tournament. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, he said that lake was absolute massive. I didn't realize how big it was.
Yeah,
Like 40,000.
It's big.
So
All right. Well,
I do
move
have one
go ahead.
Yeah.
bait one thing that I'll share with you that I've been doing it for a couple of years. I'm sure other people do it too, but it's these hover heads that I make. It's like one of the
Let me expand that there.
it's kind of like a core tackle almost.
Mm-hmm.
it's this is one of the little 1/8 ounce ones that I pour, but one of these with it's just a 1/0 hook, and I take just a regular. This is a Yum Bad Mama. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but it's like a beaver style bait, and rig that like you would one of the minnows.
Then back in.
These things are so greasy; they're hard to rig up. But if you rig it up like that, and it just really glides, kind of like a tube, but it's something the fish don't see a whole lot. And it also skips really well because of the flat head on it. So this is something you've never tried.
So will you be taking that to Melbourne?
It's something that I bring everywhere. That's something that's always in my box. But
I'll text you after the show for another order. Damn it. I mean, darn it, Clayton.
it works fine as a hover rig also. But that's something that I don't see people do very often. I've been doing for a while, and I don't think the fish see it a whole lot. It glides and spirals and does a lot of stuff that a tube does, but it's just a different profile, a little bit different look. And you can, whatever kind of beaver or soft plastic craw, anything that has kind of those short, flat appendages like that, it really works well with.
So what's the biggest bass you've ever caught on your own bait, Clayton?
972.
Dang.
Ooh,
Nice.
very nice.
No joke.
Yeah.
Another one I like to do is you have the bait casting Ned heads with the EWZ hook. I don't know if you can see those on there. I actually like to do what you just did with the hover rig with these craws. I've had some pretty good luck on those. And they're weedless, so you can throw them a lot and they sink fast, so it kind of gets in there a little bit.
The big swing heads is another thing that I like to do, but especially during the summertime when the water gets hot, I like to fish the really big finesse worms, the big fat finesse worms like a Strike King bullwhip. One of the 10-inch versions of that, or a Young Mighty Worm. It's 11.5 inches. They're probably an ounce of plastic by themselves. So the nice thing with the swing head molds is I can put whatever size hook I want on whatever weight of the lead head. So I'll take the little bitty 1/8 ounce head and I'll put a 7/0 monster worm hook on the back of it, and that little bitty weight with that big hook on it, and it just kind of glides down into the. I fish it on rocks a lot. That's what I fish at Lacine a lot during the summertime. But it works really well at Mound City. Anywhere where you have big largemouth during the summertime, Kreitzer, it works really well. And it just kind of glides down real slow. It doesn't, if you're fishing in big rocks, it doesn't snag up nearly as bad because it doesn't crash down into the rocks really hard.
I'm pretty sure we should have called tonight's episode "The Juice." I'm going to do one more thing, and then we'll move on to kind of some some other stuff. But I wanted to share on screen here it's kind of your list of everything, prices and stuff. It's out on your Facebook page. So check out C&C Custom Baits Facebook page if you're not already on it. Like everybody that watches the show probably already is, but since you're on, every other show. But nonetheless, anyway, check it out. Thanks, Clayton. We appreciate you. And I think one thing you need to do to improve C&C, from this is my standpoint, is, except for Kansas Kayak Anglers, you need to probably, there's such high quality baits, you need to double your price so you can retire just a little bit earlier. Except for us right here,
Yeah,
because they really are high quality. I mean, if you were to buy that anywhere else, like your bladed jigs are double that. So
yeah, I've heard that before. And then every once in a while I get I can go to Academy and buy a chatterbait for $5. Go to Academy and buy it for $5. I don't care. I don't do this for a living. You can.
Yeah. Tony, keep it down over there. Anyway, Clayton, let's go ahead and put an order in real quick before you raise those prices.
I said not to us though, that KKA discount.
Yeah, and if you're a KKA member, you do get a discount also. So
yeah, and there's so many new people in our club. Make sure you tell them that you're a KKA member before you order. So, all right, so let's talk about tournament breakdown. That's why everybody's here, right? And we've already given a lot of good juice. I'll start with Drew. Did you have a plan going into today? Kind of what was your starting plan? Did you just show up and pick a pit off a map, or what was your plan?
Well, for some background, I call the pits my home lake pretty much. I fished in most of my whole life. So going into, I did some pre-fishing Tuesday, and I caught a ton of fish on what's wacky rig and everything like that. And I caught a fish on a popper too, and that kind of keyed me on what I wanted to do. I was tying on some stuff on Friday, and I saw in my box a frog, a what's popping frog, and I'm like, no, why not? So I spooled up some braid, and that has kind of led me down. I started off. I threw that for 2 straight hours. That was the only thing I threw, and I caught 8 fish on it. I would just go through pretty much anything that was off on the bank, so I could lay down or like a piece of grass, and I would cast, make pretty much 3 casts to it, like side, middle, right side, and they would I would pop it once or twice, and then but they would hit it, and it was really fun, but. They were hitting it. The biggest fish were barely hitting it. Like they wouldn't even make a splash. They would just suck it down, and it was that was it. It was pretty odd because there's a couple bites I missed where I was like, not paying attention, and I just look over my bait's gone. Like they didn't make a sound. They didn't make a splash, and it was weird. But
did you stay in the same pit the whole day, or do the kind of same thing?
Yeah. I fished a pit I really enjoy. And yeah, we actually, it was pretty funny. Me and my teammate, we actually ended up at the same pit. So
That's crazy.
yeah, I kind of just let him have the first half, and then I went to the other side, and we just kind of broke it down.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen Todd and Marty Hughes ended up in the same pit too. They said that they're teammates. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, Derek and I ended up in the same pit, and we were teammates, so it's kind of funny. That's a story for later in the show if we have time.
Yes.
But
Drew,
one more question, real quick, Drew. Since you said it's your home lake, did you actually struggle figuring out like just your favorite pit, or just like, oh man, I've got so many? Because being down there's so many to choose from. Like you're like, I don't know which one to choose. There's so many good ones. Or was it like, no, I'm going there. That's what I'm going to do.
There are a lot of good ones, but the pit I chose, I've like out of the last year, I probably fished it 30, 40 times.
Oh, wow.
It's just, I just know it really well. And especially this time of year, it produces really good fish.
Yeah, nice.
Well, your instinct paid off. So
Yeah.
did you lose any? Like they got you a little higher in the rankings?
There was one fish I possibly might have missed. He came up, hit the frog, and I was trying to. He was flying, and I tried to catch up to him. And by the time I did, I hit him, and it was just with nothing. I saw him. He might have been 17 and a half, so it wouldn't have been that much of a increase. But yeah.
Joe, did you have something to ask Drew?
Yeah, I think it's the coolest thing you caught him on a frog. I was wondering, it's one thing I'm trying to get better at. It's frog fishing. I was wondering if you had a particular frog you're fond of for doing.
Yeah, if I say Spro, with bronzai, I mean, you just can't go wrong with anything Spro makes. They have a good soft out of the package. There are some brands that are pretty stiff, but
Yeah.
I actually boil pretty much all my frogs with the fork. And
I was just going to ask if you boil them, because that's the frogs I use. I don't get good hook. I think they're too hard. And so I was wondering if you do boil yours. I was thinking about starting to do that.
Yep. That's it. I boil all of them, make them nice and soft, and then I throw them on a 7.2 heavy, and it just works out.
Nice. Yeah.
I have a little juice after the show. I'll tell you about a frog that actually works pretty dang well. Because I throw a frog quite a bit in the summertime. So
Sean said he talked himself out of bringing the frog rod Friday night. 15th rod was too many. Yeah, that's. I try to keep it to. I used to keep it to like 5 or 6 for tournaments, and now I keep it to like 10. So, Joe, what about you? What was your? You just kind of have a plan. You just shoot a dart at a board and go there.
Yeah, I knew, I've never even had heard of that. I've never been down there, never fished it before. And it was pretty darn intimidating. When I looked up all those lakes we had the option to choose from, I mean, there's, 40 plus? Is that what it was? 40 something?
There's like 1,000 of them. I mean.
Is there really? Okay. Well,
there's probably about 30, 40 bigger ones, but if you include all the small, half-acre ones, it's about like 1,000. So.
Yeah, because I pulled up Google Earth and I was just trying to get an idea, and I eventually just gave up on that. So I just basically drove down to the middle of it, and by the time I got down there, I just drove around. So I had to take the truck through the car wash twice because a lot of those roads were just straight mud. Because I just drove around, and I just had a notebook in my truck, and I was just writing down which ones I liked. And all I was really looking for was just laydowns. That's my favorite thing, throwing big jigs at laydowns. And so my thought was, I don't have a lot of time to figure these lakes out, but I'm just going to try to find the ones that, have the stuff that I'm comfortable fishing. So there was about 3 of them that just looked good. I mean, I had no frame of reference if these lakes were good or not, if they were the best ones. They're just ones that just visually looked good to me. Then there was one lake I got to spend about 3 hours free fishing on it. Never caught a big one. I mean, I caught a lot of small fish from And there was a ton of small fish you had to work through, and it sounds like a lot of the lakes, from what I understand.
Mhm.
So caught a lot of small ones. I think my biggest one was maybe just over 15. So coming out of pre-fishing, I mean, I wasn't sold on the lake that I was at. But I said, hey, that's all I know. I'm going to do these. My strategy was to fish the 3 lakes that I liked of all the ones I drove around. And so started at the one I got some pre-fishing time on just because I had at least some familiarity with the depths. And I fished that one just through spinner. I mean, I brought 6 rods with me with 6 different setups because I, again, just didn't have a frame of reference, didn't have a lot of experience on it. So I just thought I'll just rotate through baits so I kind of figure something out. So I had 6 rods, 6 different baits, worked that until about probably just before noon. And then the lake I really wanted to fish was the second one. So my plan was to either fish 2, maybe 3 that day. And when I got out to go to the lake I wanted to go fish, there was 2 boats and 3 kayaks in it. And so I just sat there and I was just like, that's got to be, the pressure on that lake has got to be pretty. I mean, it had been pretty banged up by the time it was noon. So now I thought about going to the third one that I liked. And then I eventually just decided to go back to where I was. I just ended up fishing the same lake that I started out on, finished the day there. And I don't know about you guys, but like during the, up until then, I only had maybe 70, maybe high 70s. I didn't necessarily have any monster fish by noon. And but when I came back, still struggled a bit with that. Once that sun got up, I don't know about you guys, but there was like a 2-hour period. It was hard to get a bite.
Yeah.
Around that middle of the day. And so I like power fishing. That's my favorite thing to do. I throw big stuff. And then I finally just was like, I can't get anything going. So there was a big brush pile I had driven over quite a few times. It just looked good. It was in 24 feet of water. And I was burning stuff over the top of it, just trying to get a reaction bite. But what ended up helping me out, and it was the 2 fish I needed, which jumped my score up. I caught 2 fish off the same pile. I ended up just going through my tackle box, and luckily I never threw these away. So I bought them like 5 years ago, and it was like 1/4 ounce wacky worm hooks. So like I would never recommend anybody throw that because you lose all the action on your wacky worm when you put that much weight on it. But I was trying to get something with the weight so I could get it down to that 24-foot depth. And when that thing eventually got down there, that's when I pulled my 20 and one just over 17, which was the ones that really jumped my score up. It was just, and it took forever for it to get down there, even with that 1/4 ounce weight. But I just let it just go down. And I mean, the other thing too, I caught a lot of small fish. I caught a lot of like 10, 11, 12s. I'm sure a lot of people did, but I only really caught 6 or 7 quality fish all day. And just luckily they end up being the ones I needed. So
did that be a VMC wacky rig hook?
It is, yeah. It's that one, yeah, with the weight all on the head, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I bought those probably 5 years ago. I've been a million times. I've almost thrown those away because when you use that much weight, all the flutter's gone. So it kind of is relevant. But for this one unique situation, I had that idea. Like I just knew there had to be fish on that brush pile. And when you factor in the wind and everything, I just luckily had them in there and just let it sink all the way down there and pulled 2 good ones off of it.
Nice.
Any key colors you want to share?
Oh, I'll share. Yeah, I'm trying to think. And I didn't even bring. Luckily, I had half a bag of wacky worms that were just left over in my kayak. I hadn't even planned on fishing. It was just it was split color. It was black and blue, split down the middle. Like
Nice.
I just happened to have the kayak, and luckily I had them because I wasn't getting anything going in the afternoon, and it was just what I had.
Very interesting.
So if I heard you correctly, you went to the pit. You thought you'd go to another pit, but you ended up deciding, and you basically stayed in the same pit all day.
You ended up staying in the same pit because I sat there. The second lake was the one I wanted to fish, just the way it was set up. But there was 2 boats in it and 3 kayaks, and I just was thinking for a minute. I was like, that's had what 6 hours of, or not quite 6, but that's had a ton of pressure on it. And so I just came back, and there was a lot of pressure in the lake I was at, but they were mostly crappie fishermen, and there was a bunch of people on the bank that were catfishing, so they weren't necessarily putting pressure on the bass. Still pressure on the lake, people moving around, but yeah, I got to the one I wanted to fish, and it just seemed like too much pressure to go into that, so I ended up going back to where I started.
Well, Clayton, what about you? I know I've already watched all the videos that you put out there, but Did you what's kind of your plan and how that play out throughout the day?
I spent Thursday and most of Friday pre-fishing, kind of checking on some of the pits that I've fished before, and I had a bunch of pits that I wanted to check out that I'd never fished before, and did a lot of driving around just looking at some. And one of them that I actually ended up fishing at the tournament, I stopped at Thursday with like 2 hours left in the day, and it said it had a ramp, but I couldn't find one. And so I just grabbed a spinning rod with a Nico rig on it and walked down to the water, and immediately just looking at it, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to fish. It was clear. There was a lot of the weeds that I didn't want to fish, and it had quite a few laydowns that I liked, but I was, you get worn out after you've loaded the kayak so many times throughout the day. So it's pretty much done doing that. So I decided I'll just there was a decent amount of area I could shore fish. So I thought I'd just make a few casts, and first cast I caught an 8.5 incher. That's pretty much what I expected out of this pit. And my next cast I hooked one that was probably 18 to 20 inches. It broke me off in the brush pile.
Oh my gosh.
So I walked back up to the truck, got another Nico rig, walked back down there, and my next cast to a different brush pile, I hooked one that was probably 17 or 18 that jumped and came off, which ended up being a theme in that pit. So then I went back up and got the little hobie and slid it down the bank and pedaled around, and I caught probably 8 or 9 fish in an hour, and that were anywhere from 15 to 18.5 inches. And there was another one that was just south of that one that looked kind of similar. And, just because they're close doesn't mean they're all alike, but they looked a lot alike. I drove by it on the way by. And so on Friday morning, I went and that one didn't have a ramp. I had to drag through one pit into another pit, kind of over. I think it was a muskrat den. There's a big pile of cattails to get into that one, and I caught a couple of 17s and an 18.5 out of that one while it was pouring rain. So on tournament day, I decided not to go to those ones. Instead, I went to an old one it's my favorite pit, and it didn't pan out at all. I fished it for 3 hours, caught a 15.25, I think, and an 18. And then a guy showed up that I think was just running his motor. I don't know. He was just back and forth, full tilt on plane in his little bass tracker. And maybe it doesn't bother the fish in those pits. I don't know. It bothered me, and it really boosted my confidence. The water got stirred up along the banks. I fished all through my favorite part of that pit and never had a bite. It was fishing tough anyways. So I just decided to pull the plug about 9:30 and head over to the bigger of those other 2 pits. And I started catching fish there right off the bat, and had a 17.75 within the first 30 minutes, and then a 16.5, and then I caught a 17.75 that I was a dum-dum head and took a picture with my Tourney X app. And I don't have the problem very often, but every once in a while it seems like there's a delay where I push the button and it makes the noise like it takes the picture, but it doesn't take the picture. And it did that, and I set my camera down in the seat, talked to my GoPro, said 16.5 incher, tossed it back in the water. I went to submit my picture, and I had a picture of my seat was all I had. So I still had a 13.5 incher instead of a 16.75. And that was when I went through one little narrow chute into another pit, and flipped a Nico rig up next to one log, hooked a fish, saw it flash, came off. Went around a little point, hooked another really nice fish next to a weed line on Nico rig. It was coming towards me. It's like it just opened its mouth. And my Nico rig flew out of the water. Got to the end of that little pit, turned around, came back to where I just lost that one. Got bit again right at the same spot. Another good fish that jumped, tossed my Nico rig back at me. So I went back around to that same log where I lost the first one and got snagged for a second. I was going to reel in and make another cast, and I saw a fish shoot up out of there and eat my bait. Set the hook, it dove back down in there. My Nico rig came flying back up out. And I've never felt that cursed. Just, I could not keep a fish hooked. It's not usually an issue with something like a Nico rig. It's just, you hook them and they're stuck. But it had me pretty frazzled and just kind of feeling like it's just not my day to do good. And I worked through everything pretty thoroughly. It wasn't a very big pit at all. And it's maybe not everybody's experience, but my experience is after you go around one of those pits a time or two, that's about it. You can probably pick up a couple more fish, but you're going to be working for them. And I needed too much at that point to really be working for them. So I had a little less than 2 hours. I decided to load up and go to the next pit just to the south. And by the time I got over there, I threw the pedals on, threw my board in, 2 rods, and pushed through into that other pit. I was all full of optimism, and then 30 minutes later, I had caught one little dinky fish. And that was when my wife called me, and I was talking to her and hooked one that I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to the fish, I guess. But right when it got up next to the kayak and it turned and went away from me, I realized that it was a lot more serious than I thought it was. That turned out to be a 17 and a half. And I got blown into the bank, and so I was just sitting there and made another cast. And as I was making that retrieve, I looked down and there was another good fish cruising right in front of me. So I reeled in real quick, dropped my bait right in front of it, and it ate it immediately. And that was another 17 and a half.
Never give up.
Wow. Jeez.
That was 227 and 230 when I submitted those two. And I went back out around to where I'd come through into the pit at, and casted just a stick basically. Did my retrieve, and I went to reel in. I got a few cranks into it, and it just stopped. I saw the fish flash. That one was another 17 and a half. And it was 242 when I got that picture taken. So I had 18 minutes left. There was one little part of that pit that I hadn't fished because you had to go over a log that was laid across the last little finger portion of that pit. So I went up there, put the nose on it, got out, balanced on the log, pulled myself over it. And when I got back in there, I started to drift back into it, and I was just kind of looking around and making casts, and I saw a good fish cruising, and I made 2 pitches at it, and it ate, and that was that 18 3/4 incher with 8 minutes left.
Oh my gosh.
So it was one of the wildest roller coaster rides of a tournament I've ever fished. I went from not being able to keep a fish hooked to I couldn't do anything wrong.
I think I know what happened, Clayton. So I think it was Friday night when I stopped by Big Brutus and you gave me those finesse jigs, and I touched your kayak. So I'm sorry. It rubbed off.
They put
on
the banana in it.
Just had to get it washed off of the kayak.
Yeah.
Maybe when I pushed it through the cattails to get into that one, I must have rubbed off the side of it or something.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Wow.
And then second question, follow-up question on that. Was it a husband and wife in that boat? Because I think I may have been in that pit at the end of the day.
No,
Okay.
this was just one guy.
Okay, because I
There
had
was a bass boat launching. When I was leaving, there was a bass boat that had just launched, and there was two guys that were bank fishing right by the boat ramp. There was actually a guy fishing with a spin cast reel upside down, which I've never seen that before.
yeah, I know a few people that do that.
It was getting busy pretty quick.
Yeah, I had that kind of ruined my day. I was not having a great day anyway, and I was on a pit and I was fishing in the middle on this formation stuff, and this bass boat just goes right in front of me at about it's probably 50 feet, 60 feet away. Turns around right in front of me, right after pass. Turns around and goes back the other way. And I'm like, really? Like I was just fishing right there, and I mean there was still like another probably quarter mile of pit left. Like why'd you just turn around right in front of me? Like you couldn't go all the way to the end, or I mean, at that point I pedaled back to the boat ramp and I said I'm gonna take care of our guys and I'm gonna go judge all these fish. I'm gonna go set up the award ceremony. I'm done for the day. That'll make me happy. So I probably should have stayed on, but anyway.
Let's say it's right around April or so is when that place gets a lot of boats on it.
Yeah,
I'll say it's crazy because in March you'll see maybe one boat at your pit ever the whole month, and then April hits and it's just a free for all.
Yeah, I tried to choose a couple different pits, like something I could slide into. Didn't really have boat access, and some bigger pits and different stains, levels of stains and clarity. So, but Tim, you're in fourth up there. How did you? What do you think? What was your plan? I know what your plan was because I was there with you, but still.
Yeah. Basically, I came down on Thursday, and I caught I think 60 on Thursday, but they were all small. I think the biggest was 15. And then my plan, on that pit on the back side of it, I was flipping trees, and I found a 16 and a half. And so my plan was to go back there in the morning, and I fished two other little small areas. I got a 17.25 out of one, just random pit, and then a couple more 16s on a spinnerbait. But that night we discussed it, and you're like, man, I found some stuff. And I'm like, I don't even care really. I mean, about the tournament this year. I was like, I'm just going to go for fun. I brought my little Hobie. And so I was like, I'll just follow you. I was like, I don't care. So he decided to go one way. He's like, I'm going this way. I was like, all right, I'll go the other way. I was like, I don't even know what the pit looks like. So he went his way with another guy, and then another guy went my way. He showed up at the ramp. I'm like, oh man. But I ended up catching about a 4.5 pounder, my first fish on a wacky rig. And then the guy next to me, which the pit's only 50 foot wide, would you say, Tony?
Yeah, it's a narrower pit. It's longer, but narrower. And
I see him catch like a 17, and then an 18, and then a 19. And I'm over there, and I caught the 119. I'm like starting to panic. And so I'm not trying to look at what his bait is, but I'm trying to look at what his bait. I'm like, what is he using? Like, what is the deal here? But I bet he had his limit in 30 minutes. And so I didn't really have any more luck back in that pit. And then I decided to go down where they were at, and I caught a 16 right there by the boat ramp. And then I lost a 16, and I lost a 19. And that 19, I was like, I'm done. I'm leaving. So I decided to leave and go to another pit. So that was pretty much it on that one. And I can discuss the rest of it with the other questions, but
yeah. All right. Thanks. So kind of back around to you, Drew. Was there anything that kind of surprised you during the day? Like you're like, oh, I can't believe I caught something on that, or this happened or that happened. It was like one of those special moments.
I have kind of like the opposite reaction. I can't believe I didn't catch a fish. There was a part of the pit that as right by the ramp that I was going to fish on the second part of the day, and that is a spot like all year I've caught my best quality fish by far. Pretty much the far end of the pit is where I'd catch all my numbers, and then at this part at the pit I'd catch my size. And I probably wasted 3 hours there. it was getting hammered by the wind, and I just couldn't buy a bite. And like that place has been so consistent for me, and it was just so surprised. I was honestly just surprised because like I just couldn't believe it. But like besides that, that's it. It went pretty much as I expected. My biggest issue was I just couldn't get with big fish. Yeah.
All right. Joe, what about you? What was the biggest surprise of the day? Was it your story about the 2 fish on one brush pile, or was it anything else?
Well, it was the 20-incher I caught. That was the key. For me, it's funny because I was fishing those, not something I typically do. I was fishing those wacky rigs deep. And you can kind of, those smaller hooks, you can kind of tell, like, if you were on a stick or something, you don't want to like drive the hook into it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like soft and you're kind of like try to get the hook out of there. When I did that, I swore it was a stick. And so it's like, dang, I don't want to retie something. So I kind of drifted past it and I kind of hit it again. I was like, oh, I'm still on it. Just kind of light, trying to get it back out of that brush pile. And then I was getting ready to grab the line to just break it off, but I saw the line starting to move. And I reeled into it and I hit it, and it was that 20-inch fish. I thought it was snag. And
I can't believe I lose that.
Because I never got a good hook set on it, really. I gave it one quick one when I realized that the line was moving. But like I was just kind of slowly, just moving it because I thought it was stuck on one of the logs or something down there. And I have no idea how that hook stayed in its mouth because I did not get a good hook set on it. And then
it was pretty calm. Do you stay pretty calm in that situation, or are you calm and collected and like heart rate like 60, or do you like, oh my god, I get this in?
Where it went nuts is when I finally realized I had a fish on. I still wasn't quite sure if it was a bass, maybe it was a catfish, but bought it for a while. Then eventually I saw, oh, this is going to change my whole day. But then where it was running hard too was just all these trees and stuff. And I only had, I had probably light line on it. I was finesse fishing, and I said I knew if that fish got in underneath those trees, it was done. And I mean, it must have been I had all my force trying to get it out of there, and have a line didn't break on that. I don't know, but that was in my adrenaline. Once I saw it, I was like, oh, this is gonna change the day for me. And then it ran into these trees, and I was like, did everything I had to get it out of there, but I was just terrified that 12-pound fluorocarbon was going to break, but it ended up staying together, and that hook stayed in the mouth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Clayton, any big surprises for you?
I was more surprised that my first pit was as bad as it was. It's one that's usually pretty productive for me. It's one that it's never a lot of fish, but it's good quality fish, and that's why I went there. During pre-fishing, I stopped and made a couple casts from the bank, and I caught an 18 and a half and a 17 in 5 casts. So I left, and that was all I needed to see. And yeah, it just, I don't know. It was not doing it on tournament day. And that was pretty disappointing to have that happen. But, and I sat there tournament morning and just watching fish jumping and going nuts. It's got quite a few rough fish in it, a bunch of carp and buffalo and drum and stuff. So it had a lot of fish activity, but I don't know. The bass were not the ones doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, the carp right now are spawning over there. So there's a lot of banks where you'll see just mud with this carp just flopping around.
Oh yeah. Some of them look like they're 70 pounds.
Oh, there's some big ones in there.
I thought I seen some big carp, but that thing, man.
About you, anything from the surprise, Tim?
No, my plan was if I didn't have a limit by noon, actually it was 11, I was going to leave and go to another pit. So I was right by the boat ramp when I lost that big one, and I said, that's my sign. And so I packed up and went to the other one and told I got a 17.5, a 16.75, and a 1 hour left. I texted my wife, and I had a 13, and I said, I need one more 16. She goes, you got it. And 5 seconds later, I got a 16. They were all bedding. And so I was throwing a wacky rig on the beds. And each fish, all 3 of them I caught in that one, you just see the roll. They just rolled on it. I'm like, 1001, 1002, because I was losing them, and I set the hook and would get them in. So, yeah. But
All right. Well, Joe, this question's for you specifically. So did you actually feel like you had a chance to win with not knowing the pits that well, or do you think it was going to take like 95 inches or 100 inches?
Yeah.
Or
I didn't know. I had no frame of reference, and so when I got down there and saw how many lakes there were, it was pretty intimidating. And so I, it kind of changed my mindset. I was like, hey, I'm just gonna have fun. I'll jump to a couple. End up just staying on one just due to the pressure. But yeah, was not the type of day I expected. I was like, my goal was, hey, if I get to 78 inches, I'll chalk it up as a win because I didn't have a lot of experience. And then the big one for me was that game. When I caught that 20, it changed the whole day for me. So,
I bet.
Nice.
Yeah.
We do have a question. So would you guys say it's about knowing where the fish are, or it's more about your technique? Tim, what do you think? I'll ask you first.
honestly, in the pits, I think they'll hit on anything if you put the bait in front of them.
But you got to find the pits with the fish in them, right?
You have to find the pits where the fish are in there.
The big ones.
Just like any lake, if you know that a certain point, has 16-inch smallmouth on it, or a certain laydown has a 20-inch largemouth on it, or whatever, I believe that's going to be more about knowing where the fish is. But a lot of times we say it's our baits, but honestly, I've been to places where I've changed up and thrown it in there and they still hit the stupid thing. So, but yeah, I would say, it's just kind of where the fish are.
I think it's about knowing like general like structure, where fish should be at first, and then using different techniques to get those fish to bite. Because I've seen people, true story, a friend of mine, he likes to fish a little bit. He used to fish a lot more when he was younger, but he's like 65 now, and his neighbor had a boat and he's like 75, and he's like, yeah, man, we should go out fishing. I go out fishing like every Wednesday on my boat, and I don't really have anybody to go with, and it's hard for me to do it myself. I'd love for you to come. He's like, yeah. He's like a really spry 65-year-old, right? Like you wouldn't think this guy's 65. He's like, yeah, I'll go help you, man. I love fishing. And he didn't want to tell him what to do with the boat. The guy would just go out, drive to the middle of the lake, and just throw a worm out, like without any it's like 30 foot of water, and he's fishing in 2 foot of water in the middle of the lake. And it's like,
that's the guy that catches the state record.
So you got to find the fish first, right? And he's like, I'm not going to tell this guy where to go fish on his boat, but like, that's not where you fish. So, I mean, there's a little bit about knowing, and then I think, finding the right bait, because, Clayton will come behind me when we're fishing the same lake and catch 3 fish after I've left it. So, I mean, that's where the technique comes in and experience. So.
Well, I can tell you in the future, if I see Clayton behind me on the bank fishing a tournament, I'm going to hit my paddle on the water as I go down the bank.
That's a good idea. Why? That's all that's going to happen is you're just going to scare the fish to him.
No, he'll catch like a 6-pounder behind me. I'll scare a 6-pounder up.
I don't know. I'd say that about Drew and Joe now too. You're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
So, Clayton, what do you think? Do you think it's about technique or where the fish are?
You definitely can't catch them where they aren't. So
Agreed.
You got to know where the fish are. But technique is definitely going to play a big role also, because you can be around the fish, but if you're doing the wrong thing, you're not going to catch them either.
Yeah.
Drew, what about you?
I agree. Yeah, about to say for the most part, if you're not around the fish, it's that's like for me that's like the doom point, because like if you think you're around a fish, then you're good, but if like there's for sure some pits that I know that are kind of like a little bit, they're on the what you'd say, they're like turning over right now. Like they used to be good and now they're kind of rough, and like going to like one of those pits, there's going to be like 1 or 2 spots where there's going to be fish, and it's going to be really tough to actually find them. And then this time of year, you can pretty much throw anything at them for the most part. That's a worm or a beaver bait or something like that. They'll probably eat it.
Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Clayton said it best. You can't catch fish where there's not fish. I mean, when I first started tournament bass fishing. I mean, it goes way back. Even my tournament fishing in college. I always thought it was like the guy had the perfect color. It was the perfect lure. That's what was winning the tournament. You had to know exactly what the lure was for that body of water. And that's not, been doing this for a long time now. If you can get on fish, you can catch them on a crankbait, wacky worm, jig, however you want. You just got to know how to find the fish. And reading the elements. I mean, a lot of these big lakes like Melbourne and Perry, like when I pre-fished those fish weren't there. They were there pre-fishing, but pulling up on tournament day, different wind, they're not there. So just trying to figure out how to read the environment, water temperature, same pattern for most lakes across the country. But yeah, you just got to know where fish are setting up at.
Well, Clayton, this question is just for you. What was your biggest fish caught on your own bait?
It was one of my Nico weights, but it was a big TRD.
Those are. Was there anything else that you caught big on your own baits that maybe not your biggest?
My second biggest 18-incher that I caught on one of my bladed jigs.
Can I put in an order for those? No.
that was the white with the copper blade.
I was actually using that on for Thursday night or Friday morning. I don't remember. I did have that tied on.
I think he still is one of the biggest bass caught in a tournament, like kayak fishing. Wasn't it, Perry? 22-incher on a blue?
That was on one of the blues, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, very nice.
All right, and Drew, I got a couple questions for you. Just as we've had Clayton and Joe on before, and Tim and I have been on, but kind of a new angler perspective. So, I'd like to know a little bit more about how long you've been kayak fishing. Was this your very first tournament, or have you done tournaments in other clubs?
This is my second tournament ever. Let's say I started kayak fishing last March, and I took pretty much the year just to learn fishing on my own, because before that I only either fished on the bank or my what's brother has a boat, so it was big learning curve to be able to actually be out there on your own, make all what everything you do is on you. So I just took the whole year, and then this year I did a Moyak event on Lake of the Ozarks, and I zeroed. That was brutal, but and then it felt good to actually fish water I actually know, and
Yeah, I zeroed my first Lake of the Ozarks tournament last year too for Moyak.
Yeah, I launched at a spot that was there was no other kayakers there, and I probably should have taken that as a key. And yeah, I did actually catch a bass, but he flopped off the board, and I practiced all winter long with the board. Just I never had one fish jump, and then first fish in the tournament just pops right off.
Is there anything that surprised you with our tournament last weekend? I mean, just from the group and all that kind of stuff.
I liked how everyone I spoke to was super nice, and I'll say with Moyak, it was I kind of felt
clicks.
It was clicks.
There's so many of them though that they're.
And they've all been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Being someone new, it's hard to actually talk to anybody or get in there.
Everybody was just trying. They were just being nice, Drew, so that they could get your winning baits.
Okay,
yeah. I'm glad you enjoy it. We try to keep everybody. I think we got a pretty good group of guys that we're always giving out juice and talking to each other, and we have a lot of fun, kid around a lot. So.
Yeah. Tony and Tim, I will say, I've moved around a lot, fished a lot of different clubs, and I think one of the coolest things, especially first off, Drew, the fact that you just jumped into this is pretty cool. And if there's young anglers,
pretty impressive.
That is the way to do it, because you'll learn more. You'll learn more just jumping into it. You figure it out as you go, and then the really cool thing I've never seen in any other club is that at the end of the tournaments, you guys, I've never seen this before. It's really cool for learning and all of us getting better is when you have the 5 get up and talk about kind of what lures worked, what strategies worked, because then all of us are getting better.
Yeah.
Like Drew, when you were talking about you're fishing a frog there, I was like, oh man, I should have done it. It's something I should have thought about more, but I didn't really think about it a whole lot. So, yeah, the club this Kansas club is set up for helps everybody get better. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, we're all just trying to beat Clayton.
Right.
Only one of us did this time.
Yeah. Stinky River Tom says, "What's up? What's up, Stinky River Tom?"
Well, that's what I think is so impressive. Like, Clayton goes out and wins, but he puts everything out there. You know where he's fishing. You know what he's fishing with, and we still fall short. But that's just impressive. It tells you how good a man he really is.
I can go to the same lake, do the exact same thing right behind him, and not catch a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's experience, right? I mean, there's just so much. I mean, Clayton, you've been doing it for so long. I mean, you just feel. I imagine you're like the fish whisperer. You just kind of feel everything and feel it on the rod and just like everything. So.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it sometimes. I don't know. It gets to be where you just kind of get intuition about stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you can kind of attest to this, Clayton, but so I've tried to get that 2026 fish this year. I'm hoping to get it by like the end of July or maybe August just to be done with it. But you can actually feel what's going on as you fish each place. Because you fish, like I've fished 3 or 4 nights a week, you can start to feel what's happening around you. And so when I went to the pits, everything I was throwing up here, I was throwing down there, and it was still working. So I could kind of feel exactly okay, I've seen that before. I'm going to throw this at it. Okay, I've seen that before. A week ago, I'm going to throw it. And it was hitting. So I think that really helped me this year, that 2026 fish deal, where I've caught 621 fish or whatever for the year. And I'm just like, I can kind of feel what they're doing right now. But, I don't know. I just think you can feel it better the more fish the more time you're out there, the more fish you catch. So,
speaking from experience, if you fish out of the same boat with Clayton, it will rub off on you from Neil. It's funny because when we were down at 10 Killer and your friend John was talking about that, how he just kind of feels like he's like gets in kind of unison with you and he starts catching fish. So yeah, that's not just Neil thinking that. I think it's more than just him. But
yep, I agree.
Is he coming out? Is he going to make it out to an event?
He's on light duty from incident at work, but thinks he's going to be cleared in June.
Sweet.
So
just in time for the state lakes. It's a good one to start on.
Oh yeah,
he's definitely wanting to do it. I don't know if his son's going to do it also, but they both have kayaks, so he's got a pair of the same kayak I have, so
cool.
He's looking forward to trying it, and I don't know, the boat deal is just, it's a lot to try to do boat tournaments.
Yeah, I would say I like the simplicity of it, but people go, how many things you got on that kayak? But I actually, with my new kayak I got this year, I've tried to simplify it a little bit. So, and Doug said, I thought this tournament was super deep with great anglers. Deep field for sure. Agreed, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll ask you one more thing, Drew, about kind of a new angler perspective. Did you learn anything like as a new angler here with Kansas Kayak Anglers? Did you learn anything from, or what was the best thing you learned from this first tournament?
Really just take your time, it's not that big of a deal. It's, just go out there and fish. Just, have fun.
Is that a piece of advice you give to somebody that's thinking about joining but hasn't pulled the trigger yet?
Oh, absolutely. If you're like, you have this, I am kind of like a guy who wants to do, if I want to do something, I want to do it as the best I can. And I end up putting a lot of pressure on myself, and I just kind of dropped this tournament. It was like, yeah, just go have fun. It's a Saturday, go fish. And if you're just someone who just wants to try this stuff, just honestly, just jump into it and do it. It's it's a lot of fun, and like just whenever I caught my first 5, I felt just so good. It was like awesome. It was like my first ever limit, and I was like, man, that's awesome. So.
It is, man. It's a really good feeling. There's two of the best. Like when you first like do tournaments for me was getting my limit for the first time. That was down at Mountain City, and then the second one was catching an actual like big bass in a tournament. Like my first like I didn't actually end up getting big bass because Jay always beats me like on big bass by like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever it was. And but I caught like a 6-pounder, my first fish in like out at Cedar Bluffs. And I got video of it, and my hands just sitting there like doing this, like it was. I was like, I had like my heart was racing. I thought I was gonna explode. It was like I still remember it to this day. It was better than the biggest bass I've ever caught. Was that 6-pounder I caught in the tournament, like first 15 minutes. So, well, thanks for that, Drew. And if anybody is watching and thinking about doing this, like coming out and join us, we allow you to come out to at least one tournament if you want, and let us know. We'll be at Melbourne next month. All right, one question for you, Tim. If you had to go back and do something differently in the tournament, what would it be? If you got the opportunity to change one thing.
I would tell the guy that showed up late to that pit that I was going the other direction along with you, so he wouldn't have gone that way. So I would have had another 19 and 18. So
yeah, I definitely would have went left instead of right. I can tell you that much.
And another thing was I was using one of my baits, and a fish broke me off, and I was tying on the only other one I had, and my hands were dry, and I dropped it, and it hit my kayak and fell into the water, so I lost 2 of my baits within 20 seconds. And I was like, I said a few choice words and put another different color on, and it caught a few more, but it didn't catch them like that color did. So
was it something like "Thank you, baby Jesus"?
Yeah, thank you, 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus. That's correct.
All right. Well, that's some good juice for the tournaments. I hope everybody's enjoying it. If you got questions for any of the anglers, make sure you drop them in the comment.
So you want me to go ahead and take over the next one?
Yeah, if you want to just ask some.
Yeah.
Go ahead, take over.
Yeah,
we might have a few more questions to add in if people want to come out there.
So, Drew, we'll start with you. What went right for you during tournament day?
I didn't lose very many fish. Let's say I lost a couple frog fish, which that's just going to happen with the frog because you just don't know if they really eat it was very well. But yeah, every fish I actually got a hook in, I did not lose. I did have one jump at the net, pop off, land in the net. So that was pretty cool.
Joe?
What was the question again, Tim?
Basically what went right for you that day. We kind of already know what went right for you.
Yeah. I think that for me, it was just, I think, trusting my gut. Like when I eventually came back to where I started, like I'd gone over that brush pile multiple times, and I just kind of like that intuition thing. You've just been on water a lot. And like I knew there had to be fish on there. So I just trusted my gut and, working that brush pile for a while and ended up paying off. Yeah.
Very nice. Clayton?
I feel like I've really made the right decisions. Things didn't work out really well with keeping fish hooked for a while there. There was another pretty decent sized pit that when I got to the very end of the one I was in, there was probably a little 20-yard section of dirt that I could have drug my kayak through to get into the next one. And I kind of walked over and looked at it and looked down the length of it, and it looked good. It looked right. And I kind of had the internal struggle of, do I want to pull into this one, or should I try to go back through the one I was just in? And I ended up shoving back into the one I was in and going back through it again and losing a couple more good fish before I ended up in the one that I eventually caught my last 4 good ones out of. But I don't know. Maybe that one was full of 20 inchers that would have just been biting like crazy. But in my mind, I tell myself that was the right decision because I might have pushed in there and never caught another upgrade and never made it to the last pit either.
Yeah. Tony, was there anything that went right for you? You said you had a pretty bad day, but was there? We won't talk about what happened at the ramp where you ran over something.
What? Oh yeah, no, that's not. I'm not ready to talk about that.
It wasn't that expensive of a mistake, just $500.
Yeah, I'm not ready to talk about that. So that's definitely did not go right for the day.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think the pit I chose. Actually, I will say that the pit I chose was a good pit. It just wasn't enough fish to divide. So there was a lot of big fish caught in that pit. And if had I gone there by myself, or just Tim and I would have been the only two there, we probably would have, had some more 19s and 20 or 19s, 18s and 19s in there. So I did pick the right pits, and so I did that. So that was what I did right. I just couldn't get on them. So.
And you're more than welcome to next year pick my pit for me too. So I appreciate that.
No, I will.
That was really nice, little 19-incher there. So
I owed him a couple. So I was like, dude, just come to this pit. I know there's some big ones in there.
I've got some suggestions if you want to send them to some.
That?
I've got some good suggestions if you want to send them to some.
I already probably found those.
I had a list of 5 pits, and let's just say I recognized it was easy for me to judge fishing because I had to check like every location because to make sure people were not in band pits, private pits. Yeah. It's kind of a nightmare actually, honestly. But I didn't really have to look any of them up because I recognized pretty much all of them. I was like, oh damn it, I should have went there. That was on my list. So
I know one of them for a guy that's on here right now. I know you said one of them was for sure is where you were going to start, and then you changed your mind. So
yeah,
that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I know I was on one you'd been before at one point.
Yeah, I know. That's the one I went to at the end of the day. Is that the one you started it with?
Yeah.
Wait, is that the one I told you about, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah,
I got some big fish out of that pit. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you watched the videos before, Clayton. I figured you knew where you were at. And I thought that was the one on there, but I wasn't sure. But there was 2 boaters in there doing that. That was where I got the boater that went right in front of me and did circles around me, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
that was a pit I pulled 85 inches out of, and then if it's the one you're talking about, and then the 12 hours later, 0 crickets.
But now I realize why I didn't catch any fish in there. Although I did miss about a 16 on one of your chatterbaits back there. So
yeah, the first time I ever fished it, I caught 25 pounds out of it on a buzzbait.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow, that was. John can tell you about that because he was in the back of the boat watching it happen, and he didn't catch a single fish.
You know what? I think John and I did.
Yeah, it's very hit or miss.
But it has a lot of big fish in it.
It does. So,
Drew, we'll ask you. You may not know because you're new at this, but who's most likely to lose the biggest fish on tournament day? Tony wrote these. I did not write these.
I don't know if it pointed at Tim, but
no, you pointed at yourself. Or do you got a friend that'll lose them?
I'm gonna say me. Just out of because being rookie, start freaking out.
Yeah,
we all lose fish.
We do.
The way I look at it, if you're losing big fish, that means you're doing the right things to get those fish to bite. You just got to get them in.
Fish.
So,
yeah.
Joe, what about you?
I don't know. I mean, I like how Drew said. Drew said himself. I'd probably say the same. I know. Before we started this, I know Tim, you lost a monster during that tournament. I was telling you, I lost a winning fish 4 years ago. It was the biggest bass I'd ever seen in my life, and I still think about that fish at least once a week. So I've lost some big ones. So I'll do the same. I'll save myself.
Clayton.
If we're fishing for smallmouth, I gotta give Tim the nod. If it's largemouth, I'm gonna give it to Derek.
That might be the same answer for the next question too. Tony, what about you?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
There you go, Derek.
Although this year I've already lost a couple really nice ones.
Yeah.
Nice ones. So I don't know what I was doing wrong. But yeah. So
What's funny is we have a little group
Fake
chat
news.
going. I sent when I lost at the pits to the group chat, so he's in that group chat. But who's most likely to forget something important on tournament day, Drew? That be you again?
Yeah, I did forget an entire box of lures on tournament day. So yeah, I would say myself. I forgot all my plated jigs.
Oh man, Joe.
Yeah.
The thing I forget, if there's a thing I forget, and I've done this a million times, I'll forget my like terminal tackle box, like all my hooks and weights, because like I'm retying up, before the tournament or the night before, and I don't put it back in my bag. I'll put it in the backseat of the truck, and I've had that happen to me so many times where it's middle of tournament and I need to retie something. I'm like 2 miles away from the boat ramp, and I don't have my terminal tackle box. So
That's the worst one to
I have that. If I forget something, it's always been that. Yeah.
Clayton, we can just talk about if you ever forgot something on tournament day, or who's going to forget.
I've forgot my terminal box before also, and that really sucks. And it's almost the exact same thing where I'm re-rigging, and my rigging station now, which is also my bass boat. I just set everything up on the deck and tie up, and I've forgot my terminal box up there, and I have another bag inside of my box that's all hooks, and there's a few jig heads in there that's kind of more specific stuff. But yeah, the terminal box, that one sucks to forget. But yeah, I have a tendency to forget stuff, and if you ever see the inside of my truck on tournament day, that's me trying to not forget things, because I do forget stuff a lot. I try to pack up in a hurry, so I don't take too much time away from the family while I'm getting my stuff ready, and it never fails. This last trip, it was an extension cord. I've got so many extension cords hanging in the garage because I forget extension cords to charge batteries with and to plug things in my tent, that I always have to buy them. And I forgot another one this time, extension cords and power strips. I've got so many of those because I forget one or the other. And I gotta find the closest Dollar General to go buy another extension cord or power strip.
Tony, we need to get a power strip company to sponsor us to put on the table.
I'm like 90% sure he came out and borrowed when we were out camping at Cedar Bluffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So accurate.
And Neil says unless it's a kayak seat that you'll forget.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do that again. I'm pretty sure I broke myself of doing that again.
That's a rough one when you look back, your kayak seat's gone.
Especially when you're on the way to the lake
Yeah.
for a 3-day trip.
Yeah.
You didn't forget it though. Well, I mean, I guess you forgot it at the kind of blue.
I forgot to put it back in the truck when I left the gas station after I put ice in my cooler.
Yeah.
And
you mean your second seat? No.
And I was 2 hours down the road from where I had left it. And I drove all the way back, but it wasn't anywhere that I could see.
That's rough. Tony?
Yeah, I would say myself as well. I have a system, and I have to have a system or I will forget stuff. So it's kind of like prepare all my rods, put them in the car. And then when I'm done with my rods, I can put away like my line, all my baits, weights, tackle, whatever, in my Yak Tack box. And I have like a specific tournament box that I carry, a little green box. So I make sure my chargers, I keep it all on the same table in the garage because I will forget something. And then I never leave. I went last night out to Shawnee Lake anyway, which was fun. I think I caught like 10 or 12, just putting around, talked to a bunch of people. And I forgot my camera, my GoPro and everything. And then this morning I went to Melbourne Lake, got about 10 minutes from the house and realized that my entire cup of coffee that I was really looking forward to on the drive down was on the table. And also my bottle of water. And what else? There was one more thing. I forgot 3 things on my kitchen table. So, and walked out and was like, oh, I'm so excited to go fishing. So yeah, I forget something pretty much every time, but I try to keep myself by creating a system, and everything has a place and there's a place for everything. So that's what I try to do. So, Tim, what about you?
Myself, the worst one was Cedar Bluffs, and there was 2 bass boats fishing by me throwing topwater buzz baits, and so I reached back to change my bait out to a buzz bait and realized my topwater box isn't in there.
Oh.
So I have one topwater lure. It's a little bug like this big, and I actually, with that little tiny bug on a spinning reel, I ended up culling every fish I had with that topwater. And but my buzzbait box and everything was back in my truck, and I was way down there, so I couldn't go back. But yeah, that sucks. But yeah, Neil says, wasn't that the muskie trip?
You got some nice bass there too, didn't you?
Yeah, they've got some real nice bass in that lake too. The water was cold.
Okay, I got another one. Who always tells the best fishing stories at award ceremonies? And I can kind of know who's going to go here. But Drew, you got a guy that you met at a club that tells the best fishing stories?
I have a small little friend club. We fish 2 tournaments a year. His name's Brandon. He's always just going in on just he lost to 7 and all this stuff. He thinks every fish he loses is like 7, 8. It's like, it was probably a log. It was probably a catfish. It was he's just always bad. He lost a winning fish. And he's full of it for sure. But
I think we can knock that question out by Tim, is who thinks it's Derek? Raise your
I
hand.
would agree with that. Joe, what about you?
Best storytellers, I'll say my favorite, just because he's a great storyteller, great character in Iowa, is Tyler Cole. He's just a showman. He does a great job.
Tyler's a good guy.
He really is.
Just anytime you get to hear him talk, even like at the All-American, he's just a character. So it's always fun to listen to him. And then for Kansas, I'll have to say Clayton, because I feel like we all have to listen to him the most because he's always in the top 3. So I'll say Clayton for Kansas.
Very nice. Clayton, what about you?
Yeah, Derek's always fun to get to listen to. I enjoy listening to, not that they're telling fish stories, but I enjoy listening to Scoutius and Cole also.
Oh yeah.
Whenever they're talking about their days, not that Cole would never talk about his a whole lot, but when he does, it's always enjoyable to listen to his stories.
Yeah, poor Cole. He always has like either a gun pulled on him or or somebody hit him in a boat. Yeah, he's had really bad. Like people have hit him in a boat, like had a gun pulled on him, got shot at. So he's got the craziest stories. But
and that was just last tournament.
No. Yeah, that was the last tournament.
Yeah, he does.
Areas.
I would say that Derek is my favorite to listen to, and then Cole also, because I just feel kind of dumber when I listen to Cole because he knows so much about fishing, and I'm like, tell me more.
He's very cerebral when you're talking to him. I don't want to talk too much because I'm gonna sound dumb when I talk.
I'm like, oh yeah, fish have tails, right?
Yeah. Fish swim, they breathe underwater. He breaks it down into science, and you're like, wow, I don't know much about fishing, so. Well, Tony, do you want to take it over from there?
Yeah, I think thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. At the end of the show, if you want to shout out anybody, so Drew, if you got a friend, a family member, if you got a YouTube channel that we don't know about, or anything you want to give a shout out to?
Just want to shout out my West family and my wife. They've all been very supportive of me, and they were super pumped for my for me to actually go out and just do this stuff. My wife lets me go. She believes in me a lot, and it's nice. So
excellent. That's always good to have support, especially from your family. So, Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out if they're listening to my wife, dad, and my sister. If they're listening, I'll give a shout out to them. Yeah.
Very nice.
Tim?
Yeah, my wife, and like I said, she lets me go do this, and it's been a pretty crazy year because I'm fishing a little bit more than I did last year, and yeah, she just lets me go do it. So my wife and my kids. Yep.
What's your number today? You got 600 and how many fish for the year?
21, but I may have some in the live well because Marty just passed me up, and he's gonna get a surprise awakening when I submit like 120 more fish. So.
And don't forget your Wheat State Dudes, your YouTube channel, if you want to see a bunch of fish that are missed.
Yeah, I need to put the Mind Wildlife video out. I've got a couple where I catch a couple fives and stuff in there too, and I need to put those out. But
now I know Clayton has a few, but I know we already talked about C&C Custom Baits, and if you're not buying that stuff, I'm going to tell you need to buy something because they're good quality baits, and you're not going to find that price anywhere else for that type of bait. So I'm going to give a shout out for you, Clayton, but you have others. So what are those?
I've got my YouTube, Blue Basser 86. You don't follow that. I don't hide anything on there. It's not anything fancy, but it is my whole day, everything that I do. I guess I don't zoom in or really talk about my baits or what I'm doing, but I'm not trying to hide it either. My wife and kids for being supportive of what I do.
Speak of them. They heard their name.
Right on cue.
No, I haven't, but hopefully they'll be joining me here before too long doing some of this. I've got the other little kayak set up a little bit. Been taking the boys out quite a bit, so I don't know if they'll ever get to the point where I enjoy it, but if they just like to go with me every once in a while, that's good enough for me.
Awesome.
Clayton, do you actually hunt too, or do you just fish pretty much, and that's it?
I used to hunt quite a bit. I deer hunted a lot. I love deer hunting. Once we moved back to Gardner and I lost my my private land that we had, I didn't do it anymore. But my oldest son last year said that he wanted to deer hunt, and I told him if he got his hunter safety that I would take him. So he went and got his hunter safety done, and I actually was fortunate enough that we went out to some public walk-in land out in Edgerton, and we didn't see anything. It was windy, and I was posting pictures of him on my Facebook, him sleeping in a blind, and a guy I know sent me a message and said that he had private land out in Wellsville, that he had a couple blinds and feeders set up out there that we could come out and hunt. So we went out there probably 5 or 6 times and saw deer every time, and he ended up shooting it was about as small a doe as you could shoot without it having spots on it, but he got his first deer, so he was pretty excited. I had a lot of fun just going out and sitting and watching deer and sitting in a blind again.
Yep.
And he'd never eaten it before, so he was pretty excited to get to try it. And I made him some deer steaks here a little while back, and both of them really enjoyed it. The guy that I work with processes his own, and so I just took that one to him, and he gave me some that he already had in his freezer, and he gave us some steaks and back straps and jerky and some deer bacon, which I never knew was a thing, but I guess it's supposed to be really good. I haven't tried it yet, but I don't even know if I got to taste the jerky because my kid.
Yeah.
Jerky is the first thing that goes.
Yeah. It was gone probably 2 days, the whole gallon bag of it.
Our dad used to get some from a friend he worked with because the guy's like, he liked to hunt, but he's like, I don't really need all the meat, it's just like ham or whatever. And our dad used to make deer jerky when, like, I don't know, it was probably like 7 or 8. And
actually, it was goat jerky.
Well, he made deer jerky too. Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember the goat jerky as much.
You have no idea. You've never seen so many goats in your life. We had so many goats.
Yeah. But my dad was actually just telling me a story like 3 weeks ago, what it was. And he goes, yeah, I actually had to start counting the pieces of beef jerky because he'd do it all in the oven. And he said, you were smart enough, Tony, to go in there when you were like 7 or 8 and you'd take a piece and then you would readjust all the rest of the beef jerky evenly spaced apart in the whole oven so it wouldn't look like there was any gone. I was like, oh, I guess I was pretty smart. So
looks like we got a couple of questions there.
Yeah. So appreciate that. You guys are great. Can feel the fishing aura through my phone. Yeah, it's pretty strong over here. And then he also asked, Clayton, how did you get into hunting?
I grew up just kind of in the middle of nowhere in St. George, Kansas. We lived on 40 acres and were really poor growing up, so it kind of sustenance hunting. But it was we had a lot of CRP, and so we could walk out our front door and there was pheasant and quail in our front yard, basically.
Wow.
So, my dad would put a hunting vest on me that pretty much drug the ground and follow around behind him when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. And he would shoot birds and put them in the vest, and I'd walk around being his little bird dog. And then it wasn't until when we moved down here, I started getting interested in deer hunting. You can deer hunt out there, but it's pretty much all rifle because it's pretty wide open. But I got interested in archery hunting, so I started archery deer hunting when I was 16 and shot my first deer when I was 16 with a bow, and started doing that every year, every winter, and got into it a little more and started going out and bird hunting and duck hunting and doing a little bit of everything. I still really enjoy it, but once I found out that I could fish all winter long too, it kind of took a back seat.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't, but I usually don't catch fish, but I definitely know you can. So, all right.
So, you want to ask about Melbourne? What do you think it's going to take to win? Drew, I know you've never fished it, but what do you think it's going to take to win Melbourne with smallmouth or large?
I'll say from my little research, I've looked into it, and it kind of reminds me of, like, at least the banks look a lot like Stockton, in my opinion, and the mix of smallmouth where I like to fish Stockton. It sounds like very similar, and I would say probably like 87.
That's a good number, actually.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah, I was going to say probably mid-80s, I would guess. Yeah.
All right. Clayton?
A
little warmer this year than last year.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that they're going to be probably just getting on beds right about the time we're there, because it's going to be right at the full moon. So it's really just going to depend on how we hit that. If we get all the big females moving up on beds right at the same time, we could see something over 90. But I would say we'll probably stick with that probably 85, 86 that we usually see from Melbourne in the spring.
Yeah.
Tony?
I was there today, so I'm going to say 89.25 because it was much more active than I've seen it in the last 2 years. Well, at least last year anyway. It was.
The fish are really healthy right now. They're a lot more healthy right now than they've been the last few years.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, I guess I'll say this 89 even, just because I think somebody's going to get I think there's going to be a big kicker fish to come out of there. Now, I do hope it's me, but that's unlikely.
And I'm going to say 90 just so if it goes over that.
Yeah. I think I had.
I've seen 90 out of Melbourne before, so.
Had I actually landed the fish today, I think I would have seen upper 80s today. So, not to throw that out there. I'm not really giving out any juice, but it was a really good day. And I'll tell you what, my old town, I was riding the waves, man. That thing is amazing. Like, it didn't even bother me, some of those waves.
Just thinking was it 2 weeks ago when my wife and I were there, and we would have had real close to 90.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that was smallmouth in one spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I was fishing today. No, I don't remember where you guys were fishing, but
your wife beat you, didn't she? She got a bigger fish than you?
She almost always does. She almost always catches the big fish of the day at Melbourne.
Maybe she needs to come out and start tournament fishing. That'd be crazy if your wife beat you every tournament.
If it was a team event, that I'd probably. I mean, she did fish a team tournament with me at Melbourne once before, and we got second place.
Oh wow!
We had the big fish of the tournament too. I caught a smallmouth out there that was, I think it was 487.
Wow,
nice one.
I had a 487 and a 390 something.
Oh. You know, Tony, I had one more thing to add. So, Drew, what kind of kayak do you run?
I run a Old Town PDL 120.
Okay.
Motor? No, that I was about to say I'm a bit of a heavier guy, and I'm already kind of pushing that capacity on it. And I would like to have a with motor, but I think I would probably need to either lose about 50 pounds or upgrade to something else.
Okay.
I mean, those you can get a small battery and what's the one you have, Tim? The NK. They're pretty light, aren't they?
Yeah, the NK 300. But I got my battery's pretty heavy in that because
right. But if you stick with is it 24 or 36 on that NK?
36.
It's only 36. But you could get you a smaller amp hour battery and, I mean, keep pretty light.
It'll be the one I have on at Melbourne when I go out there, so I can be.
Yeah, I kind of wish for lakes like that and Perry and stuff, I would sure love to have something that was just a little bit faster. But
well, the Tuesday nighters, like for our sunflower events, that's the only reason I'm keeping the NKs for like Perry Lake, and so that I can run to my spots that are 3 miles away. Oh, there's Marty.
Marty.
Nice. He posted a really nice article on the Kayak Basin Facebook page today. That was really good.
Yeah, I was actually like, I was thinking like, Marty, I should ask you to do something like that, but I didn't want to. I know you're so busy, and it was an excellent article. So thank you for doing that. I hope you come to more and write more articles because I know I can't write articles, so it's not my area. So,
Joe,
all right.
What do you run? I don't remember.
I've just always been in a Hobie Pro Angler, so I've always it's one of those things I'm just comfortable because that's all I know. So I've always just stayed in Hobie. I've had 3 of them. So
that's right. We have the same exact camouflage one, don't we?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yep. And Clayton, you know what you run, but go ahead if you want to talk about it.
I've got the Old Town 120 PDL, and I've got the motor on the front of mine also.
Yep.
I've got too much stuff on mine.
I'm waiting for you to see you like to see the ship going down. That thing's, man, I'll tell you what.
I keep losing weight so I can put more stuff on it.
There you go.
It's a good idea.
Kind of like the shells in my garage.
I got back from the tournament the other day, and I was down 6 more pounds just because I don't hardly eat anything at the tournament. So that covered.
Yeah, I actually lost 4 pounds at the tournament this last weekend because my motor wasn't working correctly. That added to my weekend. I ran over a $500 rod and reel combo, like a Shimano Vanford. I set it on my trailer, and we talked about forgetting things. I'm ready to talk about it now. Sorry. I set it on the trailer. I forgot something in the car. Went to get it, and then walked around the other side of the car. I was like, all right, I guess I'm ready to back up, and just crunch. Completely destroyed. I don't think Neil's fixing that one.
Actually, I'll send it to him. See what he can do. Put some duct tape on it and some electrical wire.
Yeah, and Neil, you're right. That's why I get warranties on everything. So I actually do have a warranty on the rod, but my reel I think it's past its 2-year warranties. I gotta go look for the stuff tomorrow, but anyway.
Poor guy. He breaks more rods and reels than anybody I know.
Yeah. And Marty said, "You bet I wish you could catch better fish," from the guy that catches like 10,000 fish.
Yeah, Marty's already passed me up pretty good, so we can catch some fish.
Well, I'll give a shout out to my YouTube channel because I didn't earlier. That's Random Likes. The first time I actually put it in my name up here, see how that worked. So I don't have my mind land up yet. I'm working on trying to make it look good with only 2 small fish. So. But yeah, anything else, Tim? Anything else, guys? You
guys can stay on the line for a couple minutes after we get done if you'd like, and we can talk. Oh no!
Oh.
The Corrado with the BPS Signature Series this morning.
I'm glad somebody's there with me, Marty. I feel your pain.
$325 one. I
did also lose my favorite coffee cup in the water, so it was a rough weekend for me.
With a jig rod, all good. I was telling Tony last night, I got in my truck. I came up from fishing, and my fuel pump went out. And then I was trying to call my wife from outside the house, and because it was just cranking, and my phone said no SIM card. I went to go in the house, and my door handle broke off, and I'm like, I think it's time to go to bed. So I was going to fix the fuel pump myself, and I was like, I don't really want to crawl under there, so it got towed off today, so I have nothing to fish out of. So
I will say that the best thing about the tournament day for me was is being able to put on the award ceremony and make sure everybody has a good time. So I really enjoyed it. The tournament, I was like, I'm done fishing. I'm gonna go spend some time hear some fish stories and whatnot, and that always makes even a bad day better when you can hang out with your friends after the fishing. So,
and that was one heck of an award ceremony with all the people there, I think.
Yeah, we've really had a high turnout at award ceremony the last.
We appreciate you guys showing up for that. That's pretty awesome.
It's always nice to see everybody, whether no matter who you are, just show up, do good or bad, and support the group. So I'm trying to get working on some more prizes for and some sponsorships. So I hope everybody enjoyed those.
Looks like Neil's lost a couple rods and reels too.
Yeah. Marty said, "Someone, you told me you were having ribeyes." No, that's the next tournament. Oh wait, I'm sorry, Marty. You can't be there for that.
Yeah.
So I feel bad because a couple of guys are fishing it's the same day as the All-American. And last year we didn't have anybody really from our club go to the All-American, like I said at the beginning. So we're like, okay, it'll be okay.
Well, this is the last year for it too, so we won't have to worry about next year. I was gonna say next year we need a.
No, I thought he was still doing the big one though.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, okay. just was doing.
So we'll be more condescending about that next year. The
Melbourne Lake Marina last year he made us all hamburgers and food and chips and pop, and like he had a PA system set up, and he's going to do that again this year. So
super cool guy.
All right, well, we've had you on here long enough.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks everybody for watching tonight. Make sure you share it with your friends. I appreciate everybody and all the comments tonight. We especially appreciate the guests, Drew, Clayton, Joe, Tim. Thanks for coming on, doing this. Yeah, he didn't have a choice. So he's the one that started it. So he has to show up. But yeah, thanks everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time on the line. And guys, if you want to hang out for a minute, we'll talk a little bit after the show.